Evening, ladies and gents. How are you doing? The endless torrent of stupidity never ends, does it? It's a deluge. Today we're going to do a bit of a rewind because you may remember yesterday I said this. They're doing what they always do, which is obfuscating. And now they're going to tell you, it gets worse, that the real problem is the ability to buy knives, as if they aren't so ubiquitous that every house in the UK has 20 in it. Wise words if I do say so myself, because today, as usual, I proved quite prophetic, because the media said this. Nick Buckley shared this Daily Mirror headline. Yes, the Daily Mirror. A good consistent newspaper, the Daily Mirror. Consistent stupidity 365 days a year. The Home Secretary's blast. It's a total disgrace. He was able to buy a knife on Amazon. Southport Killer Death Manual still available via Google. Yes, I'm glad Yvette is focusing on the big issues. And Mr. Buckley obviously said something wise himself. This is what simpletons talk about when we have an atrocity. They never discuss what we really need to discuss. 100% correct. And you know it's true, which is why I said it. Because the government's response to stories of thousands of little girls being diddled by swarthy foreign men wasn't to stop the swarthy foreign men from doing the diddling. It was to prosecute Tony Romo for mortgage fraud. Like that was causing the issue. I've said the point many, many times. People talking, Mr. Romo having a rally and saying things, Nigel Farage printing posters about immigration and saying things. That's not what makes people very, 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 very angry. Angry enough to start praising the French response to incompetent leadership during the terror. That's not what makes them angry. It's seeing photographs of little girls with knife wounds in the faces. That's what makes you very, very, very angry. It's not like Tony Romo's some sort of masterful public speaker and he can turn Owen Jones into Oswald Mosley with a few smoothly uttered sentences, is it? That's not what makes people angry. The root cause of the problem is the importation of very, very violent men, unvetted men from some of the poorest countries on earth with very strange belief systems. So as usual, we're talking about the wrong thing, because that's what we do. And lo and behold, it's the big story on the BBC today. In fact, I'm just going to start at the very top, right? Look, here's me at the very top of the BBC homepage. Biggest news of the day. Prince Harry's won his lawsuit, as usual, because our courts and judges and activist lawyers are about as impartial as a clingy mother at a baby beauty contest. Second story of the day. Crossbow killer. Third story, 12-year-old boy killed in a stabbing in Birmingham. So we can guess. We can cast some aspersions about who was responsible for that. And then fourth down the list, so this is the fourth big story of the day. Tougher checks on knife sales fast-tracked after Southport attack. Amazing. Online buyers will be asked to submit an ID document and record a live video. Yeah, will not make a blind bit of difference. Every kitchen in the UK. Do you think Axel Rudukanubu's mum and dad used to eat steak with a spoon? Is that what you're going to tell me? This will make not a blind bit of difference. And while they're messing around passing this law, as we speak, thousands of unvetted men are crossing the channel. So, I'd be lying to say I took no pleasure in constantly being proved right by the imbeciles that we call politicians in the UK. That'd be a lie. I'm chippy enough to enjoy it, but I'm going to cover this story anyway, safe in the knowledge that myself and anybody else in the UK with the IQ higher than that of a chicken McNugget saw this story coming 50 miles away, alright? Out of morbid curiosity, let's have a read. Okay, there's going to be tougher checks on knife sales, and that will do less than nout. By Tom Simmons and Christy Cooney. There he is, the weird, soulless android with his eyes too close together. People trying to buy knives online will face tougher measures to prove their age. As if every teenager in England can't get their hands on a knife. What are the parents going to do? Chain them to a radiator in the cellar? How do you stop a teenager from getting a knife? You could walk into Tesco, put one in your coat pocket and walk out. It's physically impossible to stop any teenager that wants one from getting a knife. This entire story is a waste of the journalists who wrote it time and mine even reading it. In fact, what am I doing? I'll blast through this and I'll talk about something else. Axel, yeah, we already know that. Retailers will be forced to ask anyone buying a knife for 2 types of ID. So they're going to mess around 85-year-old women. If Ethel wants a knife, sorry love, you best go home and get another piece of ID. Do one, Ethel. We don't sell edged weapons to your type, love. And Amazon said it takes responsibility around the sales of age-restricted items extremely seriously and launched an investigation, wasting their time as well. And then Sir Keir Starmer, once again, without ever mentioning the I word or the M word or talking about mass immigration, said the lessons of this case could not be clearer. Time and again, as a child, the Southport killer carried knives. Time and again, he showed his intent to use them, but tragically, he was still able to order the weapon off the internet without any checks or barriers. A 2-click killer. Yeah, and if he hadn't have been able to buy that, he'd have went, yeah, I'm not doing it. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go and volunteer at my local women's refuge. That would have lasted about 3 minutes. When he realised they don't practice FGM in women's refuges, he would have walked off the job, wouldn't he? Nazir Afzal. He's got a very honest name, Nazir Afzal. Yeah, very honest. I'm sure he'll be totally impartial. He said anything that could make it more difficult for a violent offender to get hold of a weapon should be welcomed. Unbelievable. And then just a gigantic story about how, oh look, people use knives to kill people. Oh look, there's been a rise in knife crime. You know why that's happening? Because of Jeff Bezos. It's his fault. Oh my God, we've got to get knives. Ban 'em, ban 'em, ban 'em, ban 'em. Worthless. Worthless. I don't know about you, maybe my granny was particularly stabby, but we had like 10 knives in our kitchen. I could have grabbed any one of them and then marched out into the street and started ventilating people. It would be very easy. The idea that this will stop a single stabbing in the UK is preposterous. And as I said yesterday, it's a smoke screen. So you talk about this and the BBC can write massive stories with thousands of words telling you the history of knives. Knives were first invented by Stone Age peoples. It's bollocks because they don't want you talking about the real problem. And as we talk about this, they're still allowing thousands and thousands of unvetted men into England. In fact, they're pouring into Europe, all across Europe. Every day. Don't forget about the Christmas market. Everyone's not talking about that anymore. What was it like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? In fact, let's bring it up because I'm sure some of you have forgot about it. They love making you forget about things like that by talking about things like this. Oh yeah, it was December 23rd, so not even a full calendar month ago. A Saudi Arabian killed 5 people and critically injured at least 200. 200 people who'll have a severe limp for the rest of their miserable lives. Remember that? I hope nobody forgot about that. Oh, and while I'm on, there was another story about Germany in the news today, wasn't there? Oh, look, the BBC covered it. Wasn't on the homepage, though. This one was tucked away in a dark corner of the internet, but it was updated 17 minutes ago. Toddler and man fatally stabbed in German park. Afghan man held. Well, twist my nipples and call me Frank. I didn't see that coming, did you? What? They're killing a toddler for no logical reason? And he turned out to be an Afghan. That's weird, isn't it? You know, I seen some laughable tweet from another Guardian reading oxygen thief a few days ago, and it said, oh yeah, London's always had its problems. What about the Krays? What about them? The Krays used to kill gangsters. I guarantee, I've never Googled it, but I'll tell you what, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is here. I'll bet you a tenner that neither Ronnie nor Reggie Cray ever stabbed a toddler. I'm willing to, I'll tell you what, I'll put my money where my mouth is there. Find me evidence that one of them mugged a 3-year-old and you can get yourself a free tenner there. The world's your oyster, lefties. Anyway, back to the story. A 2-year-old boy and no doubt his father have been killed by a 28-year-old Afghan in the Bavarian city of Aschaffenburg. German reports suggest he had a first thing to tell you, history of metal. My God. And 2 others were taken to hospital with serious injuries. Marcus Sodder, cowardly and despicable, blah, 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 thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. Definitely no motive, definitely nothing to do with the little pot-bellied epileptic dwarf who plagiarised the Bible. Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, far right, far right, far right, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. Done. I apologise, I skipped through that story quite fast, but as you can understand, the meat of the issue was completely ignored. They turned it into a story about the far right, because they're the thing we need to be scared of, while people who aren't white nationalists murder children daily at this point. And obviously there wasn't a single mention of the religion of many, many, many pieces. So easy. At least misery has company, doesn't it? Because this agenda is global. Doesn't matter whether it's in England or Germany or Scotland or Wales or Ireland or Slovakia or Romania, or over here in the States, there was a San Bernardino shooting carried out by some of the regulars at the big Golden Bell End churches, and they didn't talk about it there either. So as I said, it's a global problem. People laughed at Mr. Jones when he kept talking about globalists, but it seems he was right on the money, which is happening increasingly frequently. So there you go, that was almost like a quick news roundup today, but to sum up, you still are being lied to. Daily, more and more child killers are flooding into Europe, and daily, all of our politicians are putting their fingers in their ears and pretending that the real problem is Elon Musk making hand gestures as toddlers get knifed in the face. So, if anyone out there is an industry professional who can carry out a risk assessment and tell me if they think the real problem is Amazon selling knives, even though there's 379 million of them in circulation in the UK, and the real problem isn't importing religious fanatics from third world countries, please do that and send me the evidence, because I'd love to see it. I might be wrong, you know, you never know. That's me for the day. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all for another deluge of stupidity and endless misery tomorrow, alright? Toodle pip. See you later.